Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the Quick Take and welcome back to another video of me covering The Last of Us. Now we have some very interesting news regarding The Last of Us Part 3. Yes, one of the most anticipated, well I don't know if it's one of the most anticipated, but for me it's a game that I would certainly be looking forward to playing, and there was a bit of news released the other day. This is coming out from PlayStationLifestyle.net. A new rumour claims not only that The Last of Us Part 3 is in production, but that it will release on PS5 with quotations PlayStation 6 in mind. Apparently, according to an anonymous source from Sony, the company has the next The Last of Us game already slated as in progress. This rumour comes from the site called TheLeak.co, which previously leaked the release date of the slimmer PS5. That was verified by the known insider Tom Henderson. This rumour goes against a prior statement from Neil Druckmann. According to TheLeak.co, the source that broke the initial leak of the slim PS5 is also responsible for this info as well. The site speculates that The Last of Us Part 3 will most likely release on PS5, but given the lengthy development cycle for games nowadays, it could also launch on PS6 as well, which makes a lot of sense. I think it will kind of follow alongside the Ghost of Tsushima kind of model, releasing towards the end of the life cycle of the PlayStation 4. I say this many times about games, but if you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, go play Ghost of Tsushima. Fantastic game, you will not regret it. It's up there with Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of immersion, in my opinion. It's just fantastic. Well, maybe not. Back to The Last of Us though. Very, very, very good. I think it's going to really depend on how successful the show is. The show's doing quite well at the moment, bringing in millions and millions and millions of viewers. This isn't a situation like the Lord of the Rings show or the Halo show, where it's an adaptation of prior media. I said this in a previous video, but like they tried to redo prior media and it just doesn't take with the audience. But The Last of Us TV show has certainly been different in that case. It's been highly successful and it's already been put forward for a second season, which is going to do quite well alongside the success the first season brings. As this article does say though, it could launch on the PS6. We've seen a few games on the PS4 come through on the PS5. I think we did have Spider-Man come to the PS5 as a remastered version from Insomniac, and we could probably see a similar situation happening here, but this is huge news. A lot of people didn't think The Last of Us Part 3 was going to happen. I think Neil Druckmann kind of waved it off and said, you know, unless we can find a compelling story that we feel is better than the ending of the second game, then we'll just leave it there. But they've closed down their Uncharted series. The Uncharted series is done, but I still think there's room for expansion with The Last of Us. You know, there's still no cure there. We don't have the end of the story for characters like Abby and Lev. What's going to happen with Dina and Jesse's son? I can't remember the name. Maybe it's just Jesse Jr. Obviously Ellie is broken at the end of that story. We don't know what's going to happen with her. What if Jackson falls? You know, there's loads of stuff that they could expand on in that story, and there's loads of paths they could follow down that they could do in the third. With the technology and the advances in video games and video game creations that we have nowadays, and you know, it would be a worthy challenge for every developer working on it, and I think we can expect the very best when it comes to Naughty Dog. They love putting as much attention to detail in their games as possible, and I think that's what really made The Last of Us Part 2 an enjoyable game to play. Just going through the buildings and just finding little notes that kind of reminded you that, you know, people lived normal lives once. I think this is a good kind of direction to go down. Neil Druckmann has kind of played down the idea that The Last of Us Part 3 is in production, or that there's anybody working on it. But I think I did remember reading an article a couple of months ago, basically saying how that the initial story for The Last of Us Part 3 had been written, or that there was ideas put forward to, I don't know, board members or something, and there was a story there written for it. So, but yeah, also I just wanted to talk about the reason why they might say it's going to be kind of towards the end of the PlayStation 5 life cycle. That gives the developers a lot of time to really hone in on their craft, and it avoids crunch. A lot of games you see with Cyberpunk 2077, where they had a set date and then they kept pushing the deadlines back, and the game was rushed. A lot of features were dropped, and the game came out in a horrible in a horrible mess that just let down fans. And so Naughty Dog don't want to do that. Naughty Dog want to put out as finished a game and as a completed game as possible, and it avoids pressure on the developers, like I said earlier, but it does avoid pressure. And I think it's also following what Bethesda are doing with Elder Scrolls 6, kind of not really giving anything away. We haven't seen anything, if I remember correctly, only just the kind of announcement trailer for it and nothing else. They've obviously been working on it for a while now, and they're probably quite far in the development, but they don't want to release anything because then people are going to judge unfinished work. It's like releasing a song that's only 60-70% done. You think, oh, this is a bit shit, but when the full thing comes through, they've added all the little, I don't know about sort of development. Yeah, that's about it. The Last of Us Part 3 coming soon. Probably not, but it is coming. Probably. If you did like the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on bell notifications so you rarely miss an upload, let's just say that. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.